Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Saturday. Wow. Blast from the Past Thursday Night Hockey Show. I'm Dave Valente. I am flying solo this evening as Travis Aurednik got stuck in traffic on I-81, which I've been there, man. I dig that. I understand that. So that's me. Anyway, so Thursday Night Hockey Show. We've got a full slate of games tonight. Let's talk about, let me share the schedule here. Oops, I got to add that to the stream. There we go. All right, so tonight we've got 13 games. We start with, I think 8 of the games are starting at 7 o'clock this evening, including the Blackhawks at the Bruins. The Golden Knights are in Buffalo to play the Sabres. We'll get to that game in a moment. The Coyotes, the red-hot Coyotes, going into Toronto to play the Maple Leafs. Yeah, I see that 17-35-4, but they've been red-hot lately. Kraken are in Ottawa to take on the Senators. Red Wings nursing some wounds after Saturday's game will be taking on the Wild. The Wild have kind of righted the ship after a rough patch. We're also looking at the in fact, let me tune into the Golden Knights and the Sabres game. But Panthers are at the Flyers. We've got the Devils hosting the Jets and the Hurricanes hosting the Avalanche. Those are all 7 o'clock starts. We get 7:30 start. Islanders hosting the Blue Jackets. At 8 o'clock, we've got the Blues and the Rangers in St. Louis. Nashville hosts the Anaheim Ducks at 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, a really good heavyweight tilt between the Flames and the Lightning. And finally, to wrap up the evening, late night game here, it's the Kings and the Sharks. Kings are looking to stay sharp, and the Sharks are treading. It looks like they're falling off the playoff pace a little bit at this point. So, anyway, that's a look at the schedule. Games are getting started here as we speak. Get back into here. There we go. How's everyone doing tonight? Let me go back to some of the stuff we were doing this weekend. Travis was on with me. We did a fundraiser for Ukraine, what's going on in Ukraine, just directing you on how to where to send resources if you're interested in helping kind of the refugee crisis. So we're looking at the World Central Kitchen. They do food help for the folks in Ukraine. And on the border there in Poland and to alleviate some of the refugee issues. Global Giving Ukraine, that is the Crisis Relief Fund. Again, that's helping on the border. We have the International Rescue Committee. Again, that's throughout Ukraine and in the refugee countries. Save the Children, also more of a holistic look at and more focused on children, of course. And I'll be attaching all of these links on the broadcast here in a minute. My buddy Brandon is doing a fundraiser for Razom for Ukraine. This has dual purpose. It can be for humanitarian relief, but they also do some military stuff. A couple more known large national charities, UNICEF, USA, they're doing a drive as well. And CARE, they're also doing both in Ukraine and in the neighboring countries, relief supplies there. And then Come Back Alive, this is also another, if you're interested in assisting militarily with what's going on in Ukraine, that is an organization for you to go to. Again, I'll put all these links into the chat so that you can check those out if you are interested. So of the 13 games on tonight, I do have the Arizona Toronto will be a good game because they are, like I said, Arizona is playing really hot right now. But I'm playing the Buffalo Vegas game. I'm wearing my Jack Eichel jersey from last season. It's the first game back in Buffalo for Jack Eichel since being traded. They did play back in February, but Jack was still injured at that point. And So we didn't see Jack Eichel there. So this is the first time he's going to be able to play. And, you know, he'll probably score on us. Every time we play a former Sabre, either, if it's a goaltender, they shut us out, like not Jack Campbell, but Cal Peterson did against the Kings a few nights ago, or they score. Like every former Sabre loves coming back to Buffalo because they score. Like Max Afinogenov, when he left Buffalo and played for Atlanta, first goal he scored as an Atlanta Thrasher was in Buffalo, and that was like a few weeks into the season. So, guys like Tyler Ennis, who had like one goal this season until they played Ottawa probably about a month and a half ago, and scored 2 goals against us, and I think he scored in both games that we played this year. So I know that every former Sabre kind of circles that date on the calendar because they know they're going to get a goal. It's just kind of the way it is. But I think this is the big thing for Buffalo is to get past what is this whole episode of Jack Eichel. This is kind of everyone circle once he got traded to Las Vegas or Vegas, and everybody took a look at the calendar. Hey, when are the Sabres going to play the Golden Knights? They knew that the first one was going to be too quick for his neck surgery, but they circled this date, knowing that he was probably going to be healthy by that point. And so I think this is going to be the thing for at least the Sabres organization to kind of heal and move on. Good thing for Jack to move on as well. And we'll see what happens with the reception he gets in Buffalo. I have alluded to it for a couple different times, but looks like Arizona is on a 3-game winning streak. For some reason, my TV did not change to the channel. Give me NHL games, man. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. But Arizona Coyotes, who are in Toronto tonight, have won 3 games in a row. It's not just that they've won. I think the amazing thing is how they've won them the last few nights. They dropped 8 goals on Ottawa, which is not the teams that did it against are not incredibly surprising, but it is surprising enough. 8 goals on Ottawa, and then following it up with 9 goals on Detroit. Nick Schmaltz, I think, had a 7-point game that night. He is racking up the points. He's getting buzz as to, trade deadline's coming up in a couple weeks, and pretty much everything that isn't nailed down in Arizona is going to be possibly moving. So, that really boosts his trade value. I don't know that I would give up on Schmaltz. He's a young guy, probably part of the solution moving forward. But guys like Jacob Chikrin, who scored a couple goals that night, that's only going to boost their trade value. I'm sad that Travis isn't on tonight because I did want to know what he wants in a Jacob Chikrin trade, because that is going to be a key cog to their rebuild. Like that, Chikrin probably has the most value of anybody on that lineup. You could say Kessel. Kessel's on the back end of his career. He's not going to fetch what Jacob Chikrin is, who is right now playing really well. And in the prime of his career, young guy still, you're going to get a lot of years out of this guy. And he's going to be a really good fit for a team that's rolling into the playoffs. If I'm Arizona, you're hoping for a first-round pick, maybe even 2 first-round picks if it's like a super contending team, like a team that's going to finish probably in the conference finals, getting you that probably 28, 29, 30 pick. But I don't know what Arizona's going to get. That's probably going to be the biggest get on free agency day or on trade deadline day, and I'm looking forward to it. We haven't really seen a whole lot of trades in the NHL. Just a couple small moves, mainly involving Arizona at this point, but nothing really is going on just yet. And we will see. We have seen a couple of signings this week. In fact, one today, former Sabre Rasmus Ristolainen was locked up by the Philadelphia Flyers, 5 years for $25.5 million. This is interesting in that this is his, it's his first kind of hack at free agency contract. He did get a nice contract with Buffalo at the end of his entry level contract that kept him in for 6 years at $32.6 million. So this is actually a pay cut for Rasmus Ristolainen to stay in Philadelphia. Probably not the best career move for him, I don't think. I think he probably could have gotten more on the open market because he is a good guy, a guy with good size. He blocks a ton of shots. He throws his body around. There's been some complaints about some of his hockey related numbers. He did have a real rough patch early in the season where he was like -10 over 4 games. Right now he's -11 for the entire season, so he's kind of evened it out. But he's. I never really had a huge problem as much as some of the Sabres fans have had with Rasmus Ristolainen. But he took a pay cut to stay in Philadelphia, and I just don't buy the future prospects of the Flyers at this point. That is a franchise in kind of in the opening stages of disarray. They had a bad season last year. They kind of said, let's hold the line. It did not start out well early this season. They fired their coach, it's just not looking. They didn't get any real bounce out of the new coach they brought in. Was that Yao, I believe, or Mike Yeo? I'm sorry, Mike Yeo has not had a real big bounce coming in. The other signing was Jared Mckinney re-signs with Seattle. I believe that's a 5x25 deal as well. Very serviceable forward. He cut his teeth with the Penguins and did really well there. Has been one of the brighter spots for the Seattle Kraken. So that's probably a good signing for them. There's probably going to be a ton of roster turnover for the Kraken as we go into not only the trade deadline, but the end of the season, going into free agency. Talking about how Arizona's surging, winning 3 games in a row, the tank battle is getting very interesting in the NHL. By maybe even the end of tonight, there might be a new leader in the NHL tank battle, and that could be Seattle. Not Montreal, not Arizona, but the Seattle Kraken are sinking fast. Again, they're going to be offloading some assets. Mark Giordano, Kali Yarncroc. It looks like there's a chance that Seattle could really sneak in and at least finish dead last, which gives them the best chance at getting that first overall pick. So that's an interesting thing. I mean, I know that Arizona's going to have a massive fire sale, and we'll see what they bring in and what kind of team they have after the trade deadline. They may just have kind of a ECHL roster on the ice going forward from the trade deadline. There's still like almost a month and a week after the trade deadline is over in the season. So there's a few games left, and it's going to be a struggle. But the tank battle certainly has gotten interesting with both Montreal and Arizona getting hot. And an old friend in the tank battle, my Buffalo Sabres, are kind of in that zone where they could, a bad week they could be down, and Buffalo has a really tough schedule heading out to the end of the season. They don't have many easy nights, although as a Buffalo Sabres fan, there's not many easy nights the last decade. So we're underway in Buffalo. No score between the Sabres and the Golden Knights. Frankly, surprised that Eichel hasn't scored 3 already. But, yeah. I think he already got a chance. Oh, I missed that. All right. Let's see. Kind of all over the place tonight. Travis did send me, and let me share this tab. He sent me a top 10 hockey fighters, and we laughed about this the other night. Most of the list is okay. The order is interesting. I don't disagree with Bob Probert at the top. I don't disagree with Rob Ray being on the list. I don't know that I would have him that high. Now, truth be told, all these guys could beat the ever living shit out of me. So, I mean, I'm not disparaging them. If you're on this list, it's pretty impressive. Dave Schultz is good. Tiger Williams is good. I don't even know who put this list out. There's a little logo at the top that's like a B. I have no idea who that is. Gino Ojic, not bad. Chris Nyland, not bad. Ty Domi, I mean, he wasn't. He and Bray had some really good fights. But that number 9, Ron Hextall. What is that? Like, who put this list together? And first of all, to put George Laraque below Ron Hextall, I mean, Ron Hextall's a goalie. He's not even the best fighting goalie in Philadelphia Flyers history. Like, I would put that on, draw a blank on his name, Ray Emery. For what he did to Braden Holtby, where he just kind of dragged him all over the ice and beat the ever-living fool out of him. Ron Hextall is named the best fighting goalie in Flyers history. I would never put him on the list, even if he had won every fight that he ever had as a goaltender. No way. Never. Ever. Never. Never put a goaltender on this list at all. And again, that's insulting to George Laraque. Laraque was a banger. He could throw. I'd have Bugard on here. I'd have, there are a couple of people. I mean, I don't disagree with the list overall, but that number 9, like, what are you smoking? You should not be Bogarting all the good stuff. So, a couple players with some big nights. We talked about Nick Schmaltz with the 7-point game against the Detroit Red Wings. Patrick Kane also had a big night the other night, got a goal and 5 assists. And it's kind of amping up discussion about Patrick Kane being moved. I think he's got a couple years left on his deal. It's more likely he gets moved at the next deadline, maybe in the summer. But boy, if he starts, there's talk about him going anywhere. I know that people are going to start saying Buffalo because he's from Buffalo. It would be a fitting end to the end of his career for him to come back and maybe help the team come back to the playoffs. Actually, let me get rid of this. There we go. Fitting end for him to come back and play. Help the Sabres to the playoffs. Buffalo would definitely have assets to do that. I think that the organization is so burnt on when it tried to do. Buffalo is up 5-0 in shots. And there's a penalty being drawn. There's a hook. Somebody's a hooker on the ice. Yeah, so Buffalo's going to the power play. They've come out with some fire tonight, so that's good. But yeah, Patrick Kane being moved at the trade deadline. It's an interesting story. I just don't think that the Blackhawks are quite there yet, although they should. I think at this point, the only thing you're going to do not moving Kane this year is lose value on him. He's still going to be a valuable resource, but he's still scoring a ton. If you move him now, you're going to get more for him. If he starts out next season cold, there's a discussion that you're going to lose a lot of value on what you've got right now. So, that whole strike while the iron's hot could apply to Patrick Kane. we've sung this guy's praises several times over the years on the last couple of years on the show. Jaromir Jagr, we both have Travis and I both have man crushes on this guy. He is the man. I mean, just got tied. Alexander Ovechkin tied him for third place all time on the goals list the other night with 766 goals. He's 50 years old. The country of Czechia put out a postage stamp for him. I think he's on the currency now as well. Yeah, they missed the net. All right, put him on the currency, but he's giving back. He knows what's going on in Ukraine. He knows that that's going to impact his country, even though there's Slovakia is between Ukraine and Czechia. He's knows that the refugee crisis is going to come to Czechia. So he did they moved to the largest arena in the country, and they played a charity game for the last game of the season for his team, Sparta Prague, and raised a ton of money. And he did a cool thing where he was like, buy a digital ticket to the game. It was like 68 of the Czechia kroner or whatever their currency is, just to show solidarity, just to raise funds. And he made a ton of money for it. Can't speak highly enough of Jaromir Jagr. He's a great dude. So this weekend, my Sabres are playing in the Tim Hortons Heritage Classic. I wish there were more Tim Hortons around here. But even though it's a Canadian game, the Buffalo Sabres are the home team, which makes it 3-for-3. Every time the Sabres have been in an outdoor game, they've been the home team, although only one's been in Buffalo. Toronto is within, Hamilton, where the game is taking place, is reasonable driving distance. The other game that they hosted was in New York City when they played Citi Field against the Rangers, because the Rangers have some contract thing that says any home game by the Rangers has to be in MSG. So, the Sabres will get a massive gate. I'm kind of about the game itself. It's an outdoor game. That's kind of cool. I'm more, hyped about the fact that it's against the Toronto Maple Leafs, our ancient and hated rivals. And, we looked good against them the other night when we played them March 1st. They smoked them 5-1, and they were on the Leafs like white on rice. The fans there in Toronto were not happy watching how Buffalo played that game. And hopefully Buffalo can win this outdoor game, because we've been there twice. We've lost in a shootout the first time against Pittsburgh, the first Winter Classic game there in Buffalo. And then we lost in overtime against the Rangers. Basically, the Sabres are going to have to win in regulation. They have been, ever since Alex Kotelik left the Sabres back in the mid-2000s, the Sabres have been just dreadful at overtime. So, I don't care that the crowd is going to be like a 90% Maple Leaf fan crowd, because that's pretty much what we face every time we play them in Buffalo anyway. All the fans stream across the border and watch the Leafs, because it's far cheaper to go to travel to Buffalo, maybe even get a hotel room in Buffalo, and plunk down money for tickets to the game than it is to get tickets to the Scotia, whatever they call it now in Toronto. Their tickets are ridiculous, and it kind of tells you that Buffalo's tickets are fairly reasonable. So Buffalo does have the cheapest beer in the NHL, so that's also a good reason to go. Let's see. We'll end with a few things. We got injuries are starting to stack up, including a couple of significant goalie injuries. Heading into the trade deadline, this might heat up some talk around Marc-Andre Fleury out of Chicago. Trying to think of any other goalies that might pique interest. Maybe Craig Anderson out of Buffalo. He's had a decent season in front of a team. It'd be good to get, if they win tonight, he gets his 300th career win, so that'd be cool. But Jack Campbell is out 2 weeks with a rib injury for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That'll be an interesting one to watch because Peter Mrazek's been awful in Toronto, and Campbell hasn't been playing all that great lately, and that could be the reason why is that he's had an injury and they've decided to shut him down for 2 weeks. So we'll see how he responds coming out of that injury. The other big issue, Buffalo scored. Looks like Peyton Krebs. Oh, the plot thickens in Buffalo. Peyton Krebs is part of the package that came over to Buffalo from the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, on an assist from Vinny Hinostroza. It would have been better if it was an assist from Alex Tuck, but I'll take what I can get. It's 1-0 Buffalo. 12:02 left to go in the first period. So, but yeah, the Robin Lehner is not playing in this game. I think he's out for a couple of weeks with a lower body injury. I was listening to NHL, Sirius XM channel, NHL channel, and I tell you what, they were kind of down on Lehner. Like the guy that they were talking to, Mike Zeisberger, was saying that that's kind of the thing with Lehner. Lehner is such a large goaltender, tall goaltender. You're not going to beat him with traditional shots. So coaches will tell you, get him moving side to side, side to side. That'll open up some holes, and you can score that way. But it also exposes Lehner in that he does get injured quite a bit, and it could be problems with his lateral movement, which doesn't bode well because they just slapped a nice hot contract on him a couple of seasons ago. So he's locked up for a while in Vegas, and if he's getting injured, if he starts getting on the Rick DiPietro bandwagon, that could be an issue for the Vegas Golden Knights having that much money stacked up in a goaltender that can't stay healthy. The other main injury that we'll talk about is Mira Heiskanen, great defenseman for the Dallas Stars, the great young defenseman, a team that's incredibly hot right now. Heiskanen has mononucleosis, so he is out indefinitely until that clears out. They call it the kissing disease. Who knows how he got it? It's not an uncommon thing for a hockey player to get. So, just hopefully you get some rest. It's a pretty rough thing. You just got to wait till that virus gets out of your system before you can begin functioning as a hockey player again, much less get back on the ice. He should be back in time for the playoffs. As long as Dallas keeps rocking and rolling as they have been the last few weeks, Dallas should have time, have that playoff position ready for him when he comes back. Let's see. Let's take a look at the scores before we head off for the evening. All right, we got 1-1 in the Boston Blackhawks game. Let's take a look at that. Alex DeBrincat scored at 6:41 to answer a Charlie Coyle goal at 4:12. We've got 1-0 Buffalo over. Look at that shots on goal, 8-2 so far. So, I will relate a story with Buffalo. The last time they've had a high price former free agent come by and come back to the team and play. I mean, we can count the Drury and Briere situation, but the real just huge name was Hasek back in 2002 when he came back to the Buffalo Sabres and played the Buffalo Sabres with Detroit, and Buffalo dropped like 7 goals on them. They just went nuts. I mean, even Chris Gratton was scoring. I mean, Chris Gratton never scored. So, but Peyton Krebs, 753. They're motivated. They're flying out the gate. How long it will last, I don't know. Look at the Arizona Coyotes. Goodness gracious. And that man, Chychrun, boosting that trade value. So they've dropped 2 on the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's 2-0, 2:17 left in the first. That's concerning for Toronto. Again, they're without their top goaltender. I believe Mrazek's in net for the Leafs. If they get blown out in this game, you're going to hear a lot of people screaming about trading for some goalie. And don't forget that the Edmonton Oilers are out there looking for a goalie as well. So the Senators are up on the Kraken 1-0. Josh Norris with his 21st of the season. That's a pretty good season for that kid. 8:32 was his goal. There's 8:49 left in the first period. So, Kraken are shooting the puck well, but they're not getting anything in on the net. The Senators have that 1-0 lead. The Wild and the Red Wings, 2-2. There looks to be some goaltending issues in Detroit. 2-2 is a pretty high-scoring game, and Detroit just came off of giving up 9. Matthew Boldy and Joel Eriksson have scored for the Minnesota Wild. Jacob Vrana and Lucas Raymond. Jacob Vrana's only second goal of the season. He's been injured a bit. And Lucas Raymond, his 17th of the season. Panthers are up on the Flyers 1-0. Carter Verhaeghe is the lone tally here for the Panthers. The Jets are up 1-0 on the Devils late in the first. No score between the Avalanche and the Hurricanes. One of 2 just heavyweight matchups here between top teams, the Avalanche and the Hurricanes. Hurricanes heavily outshooting the Avalanche 15-5, averaging about a shot a minute here in Raleigh. And then we don't have any reports from the Islanders Blue Jackets, although that looks like, they're probably dropping the puck right now. So anyway, that is the news from the world of hockey tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight. If you're out there watching us, give us a like, subscribe, a share on whatever platform you're watching us from. It really helps us out. It helps boost the algorithm, gets us in front of more eyes. It shows up on people's feeds, so we would really appreciate it. It helps us out so much. And we will talk to everyone next week as we get closer to the trade deadline. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. Have a great night.